Woke up at 9:55 a.m. Soon as I woke up, I looked at Suzanne and she looked at me. I said, "Did I tell you about..."
I just think of him opening his eyes and looking at him.
Okay, alright. Okay, so he opens his eyes, he looks at Suzanne, she looks at him. What question, Rick, do you think he immediately asks his girlfriend?
Go on.
What question do you think? Have a quick guess.
Am I dreaming?
I woke up, I said to my girlfriend, "Did I tell you about..." I woke up, I looked at Suzanne, she looked at me. I said, "Did I tell you about the immune system?" Did I tell you about the immune system? Suzanne started laughing. I said, "It's amazing." She said, "Not now." Springing into action, he zips up, his eyes are like... Did I tell you about the immune system? Oh, shut up, I'll put the kettle on.
No, it's something, when I was looking on the web, found something out.
Go on.
It's a story about a woman who had a baby,
What are you talking about?
What?
a woman who had a baby who was having a baby.
It was no clearer when you repeated it.
No! Go! I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do for the common good, right? Pursue this line of inquiry, right? Because I don't know where it's going. Or play a record. I'm actually torn. I don't know what to do.
No, I remember seeing it and thinking, I've got to tell Ricky about that. It's brilliant.
What should we do? Should we go with it? I mean, it's like, it's entering into the abyss, it's opening Pandora's box, it's peeking, it's going down to the cellar.
I've got a couple of questions, though.
Go on, then.
Well, come down there with me.
Okay,
come down in the cellar with me.
Okay, right, Carl. What, first of all, it was on the web. What do you mean? The baby was what? Had another, was it, she didn't give birth, the doctor didn't find one of those set of Chinese dolls up her? Russians dolls, whatever they're called.
That's what I pictured it like, those dolls where you take the head off and there's another one in there that all look the same. But no, the story was, there's a woman who's...
No, don't just say it again, that's a headline. That's not a story. There was a woman who had a baby, That's not a story. Imagine handing that in as a thesis to loads of the BMA. There you go, and read that.
That's a children's rhyme.
Yeah, there was a woman who had a baby What do you mean? So she had a baby, right? Yeah.
And,
that bit's fine. We're okay with that.
That's normal. That's normal.
A woman had a child.
Yeah, totally normal.
She gave birth. Fine.
Yeah.
Next.
Well, I don't know that much more, apart from the fact that the baby's, like, roaming about, and then, 12 months later, she's like, oh...
Interesting, so the gestation period of that baby was actually 3 months more than an adult.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's weird, though, isn't it?
So, was the headline, "My baby's 12 months pregnant"? What are you talking about? 12 months later it had a... What are you talking about?
Forget it.
No, you haven't even finished the story. That what you said, and 12 months later, you didn't even finish the sentence. So what do you mean?
No, I didn't read any more into it, because I just saw that and I thought, that's weird, and then I just was thinking, oh, like, imagine the kid at school, at parents' evening.
Go on.
And it's like, well, your kid's pretty good, now let's have a look at your work, sort of thing. Don't you think that'd be weird?
But what? Did the child have a baby?
Yeah.
Of course it didn't! Play a record!
We shouldn't have gone down in the cellar. We should have just left the cellar door closed. I never learned. That's the Zombies, and a song called Time of the Season. I've enjoyed that.
What do you think of Zombies, Carl?
It's alright, yeah.
No, not the group, but the Living Dead.
Don't worry about them.
No? Why?
Not about, are they? Doesn't happen.
You don't believe in that?
Listen, right?
You don't believe in zombies?
So,
but you do believe a baby had a baby?
Yeah.
On you go, on you go.
Are you still saying that didn't happen?
Yes.
Right, well, I'll find the thing again, I'll print it off, and then you'll read it.
All I'm saying is there's more information that we need.
Yeah, but it always annoys me that when I do get the information, you'll go, yeah, but it's named Sally, you didn't say that, and make out...
No.
As if...
No, don't make it look like we're over-inquisitive or over-cynical. You come out with the most abominable things man has ever uttered, and you expect us to accept them. Usually headlines, usually illogical, not just probably wrong. So, fleas are born pregnant.
Are they?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
See?
On we go.
So,
See, that's true, and you're not impressed. Because it doesn't involve a little werewolf child. Or half man, half shark. You're just not, it's not good enough for you.
no, but if I read the first line of something and it's not that interesting, I go next, right, and I move on. Now, when I saw a woman had a baby, and it had a baby,
But you still didn't read on.
No, but, alright, I didn't read on, but it got me thinking. Like I said, you wonder about the parents' evening. I was thinking about, you know, is it a good thing? Because you're gonna spend more time with the kid. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of mums who have to go to work and that. She's gonna be a great mum. Grew up with her, literally.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
She's
I'm
gonna be
wondering,
a great mum!
I just wonder if, I know it sounds weird, but if
Was it the, you know the baby that woman had, was that a girl or a boy?
Like, it would have been a girl, wouldn't it?
Of course it would, it'd be mental, wouldn't it, if it wasn't?
And we just had an email from Dan. He says, my Mrs. Lynn is pregnant and is 8 days overdue. Carl, could you offer any words of encouragement to coax the baby down the birth canal? I've sat Lynn only inches away from the speaker to allow optimum audio transfer to the uterus. What would you say to that child there, just to lure it out to the wide world, Carl?
I wouldn't rush out, to be honest.
Right.
It's not good, is it? Out here.
Sure.
And I don't really want to talk about kids either, because Suzanne's mate's just had one and now she wants one.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Please never bring a child into the world, Carl. Promise us that.
They just bore me. Have you seen, there's loads of people in the office who have got them now and they've all got baby pictures everywhere. And they're all like, isn't it nice looking? And it's like, no, it's not. They all look the same. Do you know what I mean?
All like Mel Smith,
They just,
don't they?
but it's that theory, actually, right? Do you know how I've said before about babies, right,
Yeah.
but like little old people?
Yeah.
There was, no,
Another of the great theories.
no, the fact that, you know, you're born, and you sort of, you know, you got no teeth, you got a little bald head, you can't control your bodily functions and that.
Sure.
Then you get to like
Sorry,
70.
you're describing yourself? or
Yeah, I was saying, you've got a dangerous
No,
ground,
I'm
aren't
just
you?
saying, that's how you're born.
Yep.
Then you get to about 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
All that starts to happen again, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there was a story in America about, just backing this up again, 70-year-old fella,
70-year-old fella, okay.
little bald head,
Yeah.
right? Probably no teeth, and that.
Probably, yeah.
Nappy and that, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Goes
It's
into,
like 70-year-olds, pop the old nappy on your 70th birthday, take your teeth out.
Goes into an off-licence to get some beer, doesn't get served because they didn't think he was old enough.
Right. Okay. Right, okay.
Wait,
Right, Carl's back. Carl's back.
Wait a minute,
No, I'm
sorry,
okay.
so they thought he was
Right,
a
okay, forget
giant
it.
baby that
Right,
had walked into an
forget
off-licence.
it.
Weird, innit?
Steve, forget it.
Carl, please. I
Forget
need
it.
Carl to answer.
No, I mean, that's the story, but it's weird, isn't it? That's
it's
what
not
I'm
true.
saying, it just backed up
The
my
guy
theory
in an
again.
off-licence thought that a giant baby had waddled
A
into an
70-year-old
off-licence.
wrinkled baby in an overcoat, stuck in Werther's Original, smoking a pipe and going, I can't believe it, the price is not the same as they were, right, was a small child.
Well,
Yeah, weird, isn't it? Play a record, you're an idiot.
right, what is the saying? Chucking a baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Have you heard that phrase?
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, how would you use that?
Well, how would I use that? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I suppose if you've been discussing something, you've come up with some plans, but you're slightly worried, and you know, you might abandon the whole plan, whereas there might be some ideas in there which are still worth retaining. So you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
There might be something you can just change and you don't, yeah.
You know, there might be a few ideas you can salvage from an otherwise worthless one.
Well, the saying, right, comes from, like, years ago again. And,
Pre or post phone?
and, ages and ages ago when, like, you know, the bloke worked in the house, you know, he was like the coal man, and then you had like
No way, it's important.
then like the mum is like you know, she stays at home making the dinner, looking after the kids.
Yep.
And you've got like the little kid who's just growing up, just messing about and stuff. So what happens is, back then they didn't have like fresh flowing warm water every day. So all they could only afford to have like one full big bath of fresh water. So they'd fill up the bath, right? And then the dad would come home and he'd say, oh, I've had you know, I had a tough day at work and that, down the pit. and his wife would say, "It's all right, I'm putting the dinner on. You go and have a nice warm bath."
So, because he gets to bath first.
Because he gets the bath first, because he's the grafter.
And he's
right?
covered in coal.
He's covered in coal, so the water's, like, minging by the time he's finished.
Yeah.
Right? And then the wife says, "Oh, after all my, cleaning the house and doing the cooking, I'm a bit sweaty now."
She's covered in dust and grime. She has the next one.
I'll have a bath, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the line, there's a little baby.
Yeah.
It's been playing out all day. Also got, like, little grubby knees and stuff, needs to have a bath.
Yeah.
It goes in the bath, right? But because the water's so dirty,
Sure.
they go and empty the water out of the window. Can't see the baby in it. Chucking the baby out with the bath water. That's where it comes from.
I don't know what to say, Steve. Because I heard this. I'm just. What do you think, Steve?
So firstly, that sort of, I mean, that doesn't explain
Where do you
why-
start?
Well,
You're struggling, aren't you? You're struggling where to start.
Firstly, I can't see how we've now applied this to,
I've
you know,
been
the
thinking of
example
this.
that I
I've
thought
been
of
thinking of
earlier.
this for days, Steve. Waiting for you to hear this one.
These coal mining parents, deeply negligent.
Yeah, I learned
They've
about
left their
that
baby in the bath, unattended.
That's the way round to do it. The one covered in coal.
Yeah.
You go first.
Sure.
You go first. Don't wash the baby and then get in that.
Yeah.
One covered in coal goes first.
Yeah.
That's the best idea.
Yeah.
Second most dirty one goes second, and then the clean little baby.
Yeah.
I think we should do him last because he's done nothing towards this family.
But more than that, Rick, leave him to his own devices.
Yeah.
Jack, I'm just going to throw the water out.
Yeah.
In the bath.
Don't check first.
Have you checked that the baby's down there?
Don't
No,
check,
I'm not
don't
even going to waste
bother.
my time
You'd
checking.
see it, you'd see
I'd
it.
be able to see a
You'd
baby.
see a baby in
if
there.
a baby was in here,
Yeah.
I'd be able to see it. I'm
Yeah.
just going to throw it out.
Yeah, I'm not even going to look, to be honest, Jack.
Not
We've all
even
had our
gonna look,
bath.
yeah.
If the baby's in there,
Yeah.
then it should be
Be
making
careful,
itself
Jack.
sick.
We have lost 3 children this way. Don't worry.
This isn't
No, but it's better
this
not
isn't
knowing. It's
broadcasting, though,
better
is
not
it? This is
knowing.
nothing. Come up with something.
Well, the fat baby then, the fat baby that they found, that was on the telly.
Right. Well, what was that?
It's just a little fat baby. That,
Oh, for
I don't know what, it's just a little fat kid and that.
what? Tell what?
It was on the telly, it was on the telly and
But
that.
what was on the telly? You just said fat baby, fat baby, fat baby, fat baby on telly, fat baby on telly. You're meant to be telling them what's happened in the world. Tell me about the fat baby on telly.
It's just they've found some, there's this illness called Momo, right? And, they've just got this woman had a kid. It's really sad, it was on Channel 4 and that, right? And, kid's born.
You sure it wasn't Jimmy Carr?
Kid's born and that, right?
Momo?
It's called Momo,
Isn't that
yeah.
a Black Music Award?
No, right, little fat baby and that, and there's only 3 of them in the world. These little fat babies,
Right.
and
So
one of them,
they're in danger.
How fat? Are you not telling what do you mean? How fat are they?
6 stone. It was only 2. And there's 3 of them in the world, and there was this one, and there was one in Brazil.
Are they like
No.
endangered? Is that the problem? Because there's only 3 of them in the world.
I don't
Are we
know.
worried? Is it like a conservation campaign?
Hunted for their flesh.
No, it's sad. If you, I know, it's easy to
shouldn't
joke and
laugh,
that,
but
but if
you
you've
could make
seen
an
it, you'd
interesting
go, oh, it's a
handbag
bit sad and that.
Well, I haven't seen it, and I know nothing about it.
Well, I've told you, there's 3 of them in the world. I mean, when you've been saying I've got a round head, I was a bit like, yeah, everyone has. Stop having a go.
Yeah.
And then I saw this picture last week. I thought, God, he's right.
Can't we
is
can't we just pop it on the XOM website?
I'd rather not.
I'll go on, just get
Steve,
someone.
have you seen that man in a jar without a brain?
Sorry, is that something? Is that a product you can buy? In like Sainsbury's?
Is it a dream you had yesterday?
Man in
And you
a
wondered
jar.
if you could. Can I? Yes, hello. Could you make my dream into reality, please? Oh, we can't actually, sir. In plastic would be good.
Sorry, what do you mean?
In the
a man-
future, you'll be able to download your dreams and then just like act them out again, probably in the year 2000 or something.
Soothsayer.
No, there's some museum somewhere
Yeah.
that's got this little fella who was born without a brain, and he's in a jar, and it's just that he's got a really round head.
Right.
And when I saw this picture, I thought, God, it just reminded me of this little fella in
Yeah.
a jar.
Oh, and what do you mean he's born without a brain?
He was born without a brain.
So it's a baby.
He's not a little fella.
Yeah, but it's weird.
Do you know the difference? Do you have conversations with like people in prams thinking that fella's little and he doesn't talk much?
Yeah.
You know, babies aren't like little people.
Well, maybe.
Well, they are little people, but I mean they're not very small adults. They're not like midgets.
They don't do a job of work, is what we're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. You're very there. What do you
I
mean?
didn't read about it. I just saw the picture. And
This
it
is
looked
where
like
you're
a
going
man.
wrong, Carl. This is always your mistake. You see the picture, you don't read the little caption.
But what do you
underneath.
mean? How do you think-
guess at what you think the meaning
But how
is.
did you know he didn't have a brain?
He said something like the brainless man.
Yeah, but people say that about you. It doesn't mean you haven't got a spinal cord.
I bet somebody's seen it and knows what I mean. It's a famous picture.
Right, call in 08700 800 1234. Once again, you win a prize if you can tell us what Carl is talking about. Just in general. It's an ongoing competition. We're trying to find some CDs to anyone who knows what Carl is talking about. Well, we've had calls confirming that there was indeed, a fetus, or a stillborn child.
A pickled baby.
A pickled baby. No wonder it died. Born without a brain. But everyone has, you know, pointed out that it wasn't a little fella.
It certainly wasn't a little fella.
No.
But because it had been in the jar for a long time, I think it had aged a bit.
What are you basing that on?
You do carry on growing, yeah.
Well, your ears and your nose.
Your ears and your nose. And your eyes don't grow, so,
Yeah.
you could probably, yeah.
I'll dig it out for you.
Yeah.
Imagine if, like, there was an experiment where they were raising a child just based on the information that we said on the radio. What kind of a person
It was like
would they be?
yeah. And
What kind of information would they have?
it took everything literally.
Exactly.
And I think, yeah, there's no irony or, yeah, it was just.
Everything we said they assumed was fact. Everything that Carl said.
And
they
any
assumed was fact.
question it had about the world, it could only ask Carl.
Exactly.
And it was
See, now, this worries me because without wishing to be disrespectful in any way, Carl, you know I think you're the best man on earth. When you have a child, we could be in a situation a bit like that. Do you know, is it a concern for you, do you think, that, like, when your son's growing up, or your daughter, and they're asking you questions, you're conscious, I mean, you yourself have admitted that you have a sphere of knowledge which you are an expert on.
Ask your mother.
You'd say ask your mother.
That's good.
That's great, fair enough.
That's good.
And I'd play with it. I think I'd be a good dad.
Yeah, I think you would.
But I wouldn't be the one who's shouting at it.
No. Who would you
just
get to shout at it? Probably Windsor Davis. He'd be good, wouldn't he? You horrible little man!
Well, you know, I'd tell it the rights and wrong. You don't have to be a really bright person to know the rights and wrong in the world.
Yeah. No, I think you are bright, Carl.
You are. And at what point in their life would you tell them about the evolution of the baguette? Which you told us.
Or the story of the bee.
Yes.
That you scored once.
Or the two children. Would you ever get them to meet as maybe like that? They could be godparents. The friends you had at school.
Yeah,
with webbed hands.
the big heads and
big
webbed
heads.
They
hands.
won't be friends.
That weren't friends.
I wish we could track them down.
Oh, that'd be great.
I imagine they're in a zoo. Oh wow.
Or
Yeah.
two big
That's Safari
jars.
Park, yeah.
Two big jars. Industrial strength jars. Oh dear.
What do you make of the what do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here. It
Well,
says,
isn't it just choosing the, you know, eye colour?
well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that, you know, where will it lead? Where will it end, Carl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot. Cause
what will us three look like in the future if they're being, you know, genetically modified beautiful people? What will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
Yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, you know, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, you know, I was growing up on this estate.
This is gonna be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right? Who's a bit rough. All right.
Didn't fancy her.
Oh God, no. Right, but she had a
Why?
baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a very.
So like being a man in a
I
dress.
mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything, and I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What did she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Looked
and
like Tony Green with a fag on.
they didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make
Get
a
some
place look
jiff.
nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry.
whoa,
Yeah. Whoa, Neddy. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
you seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of...
Right?
oh, that's great.
I'd
Big
been out.
Jake, I'm looking for it.
I'd been out.
Oh.
Nicked
Right,
away.
sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after?
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. Alright then, but keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well, I'll be...
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
that's why the family didn't have any money, they'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah, and
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well.
Oh, so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round, and, and you know, sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport,
And the horse was in the lounge,
reading a paper,
just like walking around.
Oh God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this, because the story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's play a track,
deeper
Carl.
and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I come from the West Country, I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah.
We got on to genetically modified babies, but
and then
somehow
Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got on to, he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know whether that's relevant.
You don't need to go that far.
But
what I'm trying to do is, like, make a picture for you so you understand.
What a picture it is. Who did she look like?
Bit of a... and no disrespect to her. Bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I've never got that close to her.
Okay, alright.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her husband?
No, her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse?
Yeah, from, I don't know where, there was I think there was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with them?
They kept it in the house.
Did they
didn't
get
have
caught?
it for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse in there?
What happened was, I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
But well, I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's just a good money making over.
So,
you're a charity.
So, so I asked me mum for some, cause she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And, I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And, got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray.
Yeah.
Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
So did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil?
Yeah, they wouldn't have survived.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So, as I went...
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty
right?
was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay? Or in, like, a house with a,
central heating?
Three-piece suite and a telly and that?
Telly and that!
No, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari.
Right? I was walking through London.
Commodore 64, rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And she said, oh, I hope she looks after it. I said, that dog is happier than most dogs.
Right.
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open, it's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that...
No, it does eat, though, they're always alright. So that's what I was saying, I think this horse was doing alright for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
by
we
the by.
Yeah, so anyway, this family, who's a bit, what we were talking about, it was about cloning...
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff, yeah.
Right, now what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So...
Come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do, they inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And, get a little baby, and there it is, it looks the same. Now, the thing is, you separate, you both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right? Now, you look at Stephen, you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well, you give it good food and
I'm a good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right? So, then it changes its looks, it goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily, and that sort of thing. Now, when this family...
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
Right, this family had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby. And my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby." Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying, like, abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till, like, 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover? Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you're brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa.
Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh, God.
But am I right?
You're always right, Carl.
Well, like when you're born, you're a little baby, wrinkly and stuff. When you get older, you sort of morph into a baby again. And you go through the same phases. So when you're young, you buy singles. You get old, you got nothing to do all day. You got all your pension money. What will I buy? Cliff Richard's on the telly. Here's my video, buy me song.
You see, that started off as quite a sensible point, because I actually think they do it. But what was all that alien stuff about when you're born, you go wrinkly and you go wrinkly again? So sometimes you mix, like, normal things that human beings say with I don't know what.
Well, look, when you're a baby, you've got a little bald head, no teeth. You get old. What happens?
Are you a philosopher? Are you an official philosopher? Because, I mean, it sounds like it.
Do you know, the other week when I came up with, like, a different idea of how we can sort of make the world run and that?
Can we just have a quick recap of that? Because I seem to remember it was a load of old arse.
It was ridiculous. It was, he was saying that the world is overpopulated, so the system would be where people were living too long and stuff. So what happens is, people live till 78, I don't know how you can enforce that, right?
Yeah.
But when they die, they've got a little baby in their stomach,
Right.
like a pip in an apple, that then carries on when they die.
Right.
It wasn't a theory, it wasn't an idea, it was the ramblings of a mental
You're
case.
saying it's stupid, but someone's emailed in and said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." Just saying, if that's a no, right? I've been thinking.
It is a
about,
no.
What about if we do it the other way, right?
Ah.
Go on.
Somehow, I don't know how.
A kid has an old lady?
That's what it's going to be, isn't it? A child will give birth to an old man.
No. What I'm saying is, right?
Go on.
Work the other way round.
Come on then.
So if somehow we can inject something in like a body that's just died, right?
Listen to this. Imagine this as notes.
So-
when he hands it into the Nobel people,
Yeah.
and they go, if there's a way that we can inject something, they go, well, what? Well, I don't know the chemical formula, but something HO2.
Right. So anyway, so you inject it in the temple.
He's narrowed it down to the temple.
So what happens?
She sort of wakes up,
Amazing.
right? And she works the other way. So like she might be 77,
Yep.
and then she'll have a birthday. She's 76, and she's working that way.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Okay.
Are you with me?
No, keep it.
Because the thing is, you've got.
I'm really scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. This is the maddest thing you've ever said. This is madder than the old lady with the pip like an apple in her belly.
It sort of did work.
This is.
No, it didn't work. It worked in your head. It's like a dream that you wake up and go, oh, I've got a great theory.
This is it. Let me just tell you the
on then.
ending, because the endings works out a bit better.
Go on.
What I'm saying is, when you die, at the age of
78.
9 months,
What?
at the age of 9 months, because that's when you come out,
What do you mean when you die at the age of 9
you're
months?
not scared of dying because you're now a baby, so you don't know what's going on anyway. So there's no
So
fear.
you missed out a bit here. So this woman, what, literally gets younger and younger?
I think
Yeah.
when she's in her 20s, she's in her old age, Rick.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because that's the fun part of your life, isn't it? When you're 20 and you've got all your energy and that. So before you die, you're actually having a good life rather than it being the other way around.
But does she do different stuff than she did on the way up? Because she's already lived 78 years, hasn't she? Don't forget. She was a baby once, and she grew to her years, then someone stuck a needle in her head and said, right, back you go.
No, we'll forget all that bit.
Oh, forget all that bit. How do we forget that bit?
What I'm saying
So
is...
she died and she doesn't remember all her, this is a new life, is it?
Let me just leave you with this.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself.
But aren't the family getting younger as well? What's happened to the family?
Forget it then, we'll leave it as it is.
No, leave it as it is, shall we?
Can we all agree on that, guys, now? Should we agree to leave it as it is? Is that alright? Because I don't want to hear any more from the diaries of Charles Manson.
No, it's, I mean, you're a fucking maniac.